Hey there, it's Ed Rush, and welcome to your challenge for the month, which happens to be on the screen behind me. It's the answer is no rule. Read it with me, and then I'm going to take you into the story behind this and show you why this is so important. The answer is no. It says, I am by rule willing to say no to anyone at any time for any reason without a sentence being required after the word no. And not to be a jerk. It's because when I say yes to one thing, I say no to something else. So we're not going to get together so you can pick my brain. Now, let me tell you the background for this story. When I started in business back in 2006, 2007, I started getting successful online. I was building products and selling them well. I started building some six-figure businesses, and I would go to these events and tell the story about some of the success that I've had. And then people would come up to me and they would say, hey, when I'm back in San Diego, would you mind if we got together for lunch so that I could pick your brain? That's what they would always say to me. And I would go to these breakfasts or lunches or dinners or meetings or whatever, and people would get all these ideas from me, and they would go off and do nothing with them because, as my friend once said, if you don't pay, you don't pay attention. It was just then that I started my own consulting business. So after that, people would still come up to me and ask me to pick my brain, which, by the way, I let people do when I'm speaking at my events. I can stand in the back and share with them and give them ideas. But when I'm here in my office and I'm working, it's business time, and I'm doing business. If a person pays me for my time as a consultant, I'm certainly going to meet with them, and I'm going to be on time, and I'm going to stay with them and work with them until our time is done. But I started charging for my time. But people would come up to me, and they would ask me, hey, Ed, could I take you to lunch to pick your brain? And all of a sudden, I would start to feel bad. I'd start to feel like a conscience, like, oh my gosh, if I say no to this person, am I a bad person? And so I created this new picture in my mind, and the picture was very simple. At the time, my boys, who were a little bit older now, but at the time my boys were like 2, 3, 4 years old. And so what I would do is the person would come up to me, they'd say, can I pick your brain? And I would put a picture in my mind. And my picture in my mind was them sitting at lunch with me giving them a bunch of ideas and us like splitting up the check or something like that. And next thing you know, they went off and barely did anything with the ideas. The other picture that I had in my mind was me sitting on the floor playing Legos with my kids. Now, if this is for free, I'm not making any money for this, and I'm not building a business with this. I'm just giving someone free information, and this is time with my family. Well, this one wins every single time. I mean, I didn't even have a choice, because anytime you say yes to one thing, you say no to something else. And then all of a sudden, people started paying me $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, up to $70,000 for my time, where now this starts to become a decision. Look, if someone's going to pay me $20,000, $30,000 for a day of my time, now I'm interested in that conversation because this is part of the mission that I'm on, right? And so what I realized was no was actually one of the most powerful things that I could do. But I realized also that everyone expected a reason. Right? If I said no, they wanted to know like, oh, I'm really busy this week, or no, my schedule's really full, or no, I've got to go visit my dad in the hospital, or no, something excuse, something excuse, something excuse, something. And I didn't want to make an excuse because I didn't have an excuse and I didn't need an excuse. Okay? So what I started doing was just saying no. The problem with that is people are expecting you to say something after that, and you would say no, and they would look at you like you grew an asparagus out of your forehead. They'd say, can I pick your brain? And I would say no. And then there was long pause, and then they would walk away. And so what I did was I started adding a phrase after the word no. I would say no, but thank you for asking. Okay? And I got this. I was with a friend of mine, and my daughter came up to me, and she said, Dad, can we go do this? And we didn't have the time to do that. And I said, no, sweetheart, but thank you for asking. And my friend looked at me and goes, thank you for asking. I kind of like that. And I realized it was a polite way to say no. So people come up to me and say, can I pick your brain? And I say, no, but thank you for asking. Okay? So now, your job and your challenge is really simple. Your job is to say no to everything this month you don't want to do. I'm talking about everything. Now, like seriously, if your wife or husband asks you to, do the dishes or something like that, you could say yes to that. But I'm saying no to the things you don't want to do. Somebody emails you and says, could you come to this thing? And you don't want to go, and you just say no, but thank you for asking. And somebody emails you and says, hey, can we jump on the phone for an hour? And you're like, I don't want to jump on the phone for an hour. You say no, but thank you for asking. Somebody comes up to you in an event and says, hey, do you want to just get together? We can partner up on this thing, and you can mail this thing to your list. And you say no, but thank you for asking. Your job this month is to say no. And while you're at it, there's a whole bunch of things that can get deleted. You've got a bunch of emails that are sitting in your inbox that you know you're never going to respond to, and you don't want to respond to, and they're a waste of your time. You're going to hit delete, okay? Because your job this month is to say no. When you do that, what you're going to find is that the world's going to see that, and abundance is going to start coming your way a little bit faster because you're going to have more time, more freedom, and more ability to say yes to the things that you really want to knock out of the park, okay? So your job this month is to say no, but thank you for asking. Let me know how it works, okay? And I'll talk to you soon.